Hey, what's up y'all? I wanted to give you a quick tutorial on a trick that I just learned. It's taken me forever to figure out how it works, and it kind of clicked the other day. I'm like, oh, duh. So I wanted to explain it in the way that I was able to make it make sense in my head. So the trick itself is when you do a 180 and land already in a slider, rather than doing a 180, faking for a second, or even a split second, and then turning your bars and slidering out. I could never figure out how to land backwards already in the sliding position. I would just land and my front wheel would just hit and then stop, or whatever it was. Or in the rare occasion that I was able to keep it off the ground, the bike would just go shooting out from underneath me and I'd eat crap. So what I was able to figure out is that it's basically just a backwards manual that you drag the front wheel on the ground for. So I'm going to demonstrate that a few times, but things to know how to do before you try this would obviously be basic 180s, backwards manuals, and regular sliders, because you're going to be combining the three into one trick for this. So to get started, I'll do a regular 180, a backwards manual, and then maybe a regular slider, just to give you the idea of what we're working with here and what skills you need to learn before you try combining the three. So this can be done with or without a cassette. You could use a free coaster. Cassette makes it a little easier. But the important thing is that you get your weight over the back tire. I don't know if y'all heard that. The important thing is that you get your weight over the back tire. So what you'll see in the backwards manuals is you bunny hop, but then instead of leveling the bike out and landing, you extend your legs, lean back to hold the front wheel off the ground, and then just look over your shoulder, pivot around. This is basically that, except you lower the front wheel enough to where it's touching the ground. And the sooner you get it onto the ground, the more it's gonna slide, the better it looks. I'm still learning this myself, so it's gonna take some practice to get these to where I want them to look, but just to start with and be able to start learning these and working on them during my regular street sessions during quarantine, this is a good foundation for you to start with. So I'm going to do a couple of backwards manuals where I just bring the front wheel around and let it touch the ground, and then slowly start letting it slide more and more each time I put it down. So once you have that pretty perfected, this is when you're going to start trying to drop the front end more. You'll lean back more and put your arms down, and then already be turning for the slider before you land. So as you come in, you're spinning, land in the backwards manual, and then just drop the front wheel so it glides around, and then just follow through and roll out. You're going to want to do this at moderate speed, enough that you feel like you're comfortable doing the backwards manual, but also not so slow that when you try to fakie and slider out, you just come to a stop before you keep rolling. So a couple of things that can go wrong: you'll lean back too much and the front tire won't touch the ground. You can lean too far to the outside of your spin, the bike goes shooting out. You can hit the ground pretty hard that way. Or you can not lift the front wheel and lean back enough, it hits the ground and then just starts turning you back the way it's pointed. All of that is just a matter of finding the balance of how far forward and how far back you lean, and if you're using a cassette, how much pedal pressure you're applying to the front foot. So again, the objective here is to do a 180 and land already in a slider to roll out forward again. The sooner you get your front wheel on the ground, the cooler it's gonna look. It will take some practice to be able to get it on there as soon as possible and to do it smoothly. What you'll probably find at first is you'll begin to do very slight sliders to where you'll do the 180, land in a backwards manual, come around, and then the last couple of inches slide. And from there, it's just a matter of finding that balance point, leaning back and dropping the front enough to where when you land, you're dropping the front wheel to the ground sooner, and it just continues to slide around. So I'm unfortunately running out of daylight, but remember, wear your helmet, have fun with it, and possibly toss on a cheap front tire because you're going to destroy it.